أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, today we will talk about a topic that we again touched upon before, but let's go through it in our key concepts series as well. So our topic is Yaqeen, certainty. And I'm going to start with from Surah Al-Ra'd. This topic of certainty is closely related to Iman, belief. Belief is, as we discussed before, but I'm going to pretend as if you are here for the first time. So belief in English sounds like, I believe William is a good guy, type of a thing. I just saw him for the first time. I mean, since he is in this room for Qur'an class, he probably is a good guy. So this is generally how we mean, I believe you're a good person. It has this wishy-washy statement in there when it comes to belief in the English language. But when Qur'an talks about belief, the word itself has this connotation of being sure and secure. So this is Iman. This is the word Iman. And the word Yaqeen is related to Iman. Because Iman, is it like a 1-0 black and white? Is Iman black and white? Or does it have multiple levels, multiple layers? Can it change over time? Like, what is the nature of this? Okay. So in this regard, inshallah, we will be studying the topic of Yaqeen. So this verse is from the very beginning of Surah Al-Ra'd. And before we get into any further details, it's also interesting that Qur'an is having a chapter which is named as like thunder. That's the name of the chapter. It's thunder. So Qur'an has chapters named as an ant, or a bee, or a cow. Like, these are interesting chapter names for such a divine book. Like, if you take any serious book, probably they would have some mouthful as the chapter titles. Quran uses very straightforward chapter titles. And it's going to be related to our question of, how do I become sure? How do I become secure? Am I going to become sure and secure by a teaching which has apparently funny chapter names? Thunder, cow, bee, ant. So let's start from the beginning of, and we will read the first 4 verses. Alif Lam Mim Ra, Tilka Ayatul Kitab. These are the verses of the book. وَالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ الْحَقُّ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. That which is revealed unto you from your Lord is the truth, but most of the mankind do not believe. In general, when we read chapters of Quran, the intro verses makes a background. So this is how this chapter is welcoming us. Started by talking about these are the signs of the book. What is it referring to? Is it referring to the letters that came before? Or is it referring to the things that will come after? What are these? This should be our question. Tilka ayatul kitab. What are the signs? And in here also, I would like to slightly underline, we can have a separate discussion for this as well. But the word that's used in here is these ayat, these verses, as it is translated in here. But is it referring to the verses that are written like this is one verse, this is another verse, this is another verse? Or as sometimes it's translated, it means signs. So in this chapter, let's try to see which signs are you showing to me? And it's being in contrast to, like as if the speaker in here, the creator, is saying that despite I show all these signs, most of the people still don't believe. Then showing signs is expected that showing signs should result in having this sureness, this security. So if I ask the question, how am I going to become sure about something? Then I'm just reading for it from the reverse, the first verse. I don't read the rest yet. But it looks like the speaker in this sentence is expecting that despite you see all these signs, how are you not sure yet? Okay, so let's see what are the signs then. الله الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها. Allah it is who raised up the heavens without visible supports. ثم استوى على العرش, then mounted the throne. وسخر الشمس والقمر, and compelled the sun and the moon to be of service. كل يجري لأجل مسمى, each runs unto an appointed term. يدبر الأمر, he orders the course. يفصل الآيات, he details the signs or he details the revelations. Again, or the translator in here is translating the word يفصل الآيات as detailing the revelation, taking it as the scripture, the verses. But as we said, Quran keeps using it in two meanings. He explains the signs. لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون, so that you may be certain of reaching to your Lord. Now, this is the word that we will be focusing on. توقنون, reaching yaqeen, reaching certainty. How do I reach the certainty as now this is describing? Because I think just in the light of these two verses, can we say something about what is a sign and how can one reach certainty and whether it really does work? رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها. Is this something astonishing for you? Like you look at the skies and nothing is holding them, but still they are there. Is it something, or is it just, well, yeah, it is. It has a name, you know. What's it? Gravitational force. What do you think? Is this giving you, is this a sign that gives you certainty? Apparently, this is how Quran is at least setting the stage. What do you think? Yes.
I've never been interested in it. I never thought about it until I became a Muslim and I read that the creator is, what's it called? Describing clouds as heavy.
Mm.
And I never thought about that. I never knew that. And now that you say it, why are they? Not why, like, I've never reflected on how they respond.
Mm.
They do it rain. Obviously.
Yeah, clouds. Or the moon. Moon doesn't fall either. It just stays there. But there's something called escape velocity right now. Do we have any physicists here? I think we have one physicist online. What do you think? Is this a sign Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Glad to see you.
Actually, downstairs, I'll agree check. I thought at 7. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So we are talking about yaqeen, certainty. So Quran is suggesting that the heavens is not falling down, but it's being raised up with invisible or so it's without visible supports. They are being pulled up. Any idea? No? If it is not sounding, let's also talk about, is asking such a question, let's talk about, is asking such a question meaningful? Because it looks like we didn't even think about it, or even if we were to pay a little bit of attention to it, it sounds like, oh, it's escape velocity, man, it's not a big deal. I mean, why should there be a vertical or visible, what is it, support? Do we really need a visible support? Like, what is the point? Like, how is this being a sign that's going to give him certainty? Or is this something that 14 centuries ago people needed to have some story, and this is why? This was good enough for them, but not good enough for us. Because the claim in here is not that I'm going to give you a gist of it, a feeling of it. It is something that should give me certainty of it. Certainty of, because this is a description of Allah is the one who does this. No? Any soccer fan? So, like, there are stadiums in Europe where soccer is a big thing. Like, in the summer, they open the stadium. It's a huge stadium. But in the winter time, to make the game, since they are so crazy about soccer, in, I guess, 1 hour, 2 hour, the roof of the stadium closes. Was it Barnebo Stadium or something?
yeah, Santiago.
So it's a architectural marvel. Like, it's such a big deal that in 1 hour, the stadium's roof closes. Even if it's snowing outside, you comfortably play your soccer inside the stadium. And we are at awe for such a thing. And we say, oh, this is such an architectural thing. And because things are changing, a big change is being made right in front of our eyes. And we say that, I mean, if somebody comes and says, oh, yeah, it is this and that, giving it a name, this wouldn't explain anything to us, because still we would ask the question, a wise act is being done in here. So how is this happening? Who is behind this act? It cannot happen randomly. It doesn't look like it's random. Let's go with the rain first, although it didn't start talking about rain yet, but it's talking about samawat. So we can take samawat, part of samawat, as the clouds, maybe. Like this heavy bulk of clouds. It's Philadelphia. In springtime, the weather changes too quickly here, right? Or in the fall. In the morning, it is sunny. In 2 hours, it closes up so quickly, it becomes pitch dark sometimes, so dark, you don't see sun at all. The roof really closes. It starts raining. And then 10 minutes later, the roof opens up again, and you're back with the sun. What does this? How does this happen? Am I just going to say that this is wind? Going back to our example with the stadium's roof, am I going to say that, oh, it is the engines that are turning? This is what is pushing the roof to close. This is how it happens. Like, is this an acceptable answer for any person who says, how does this work? Oh, of course, the engines are pushing it. It's not an answer that we would accept, because it doesn't answer the fundamental question that I'm asking. So, Ali. So, and in here, Allah الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها. So you do expect to see some sort of a support, but it's happening. So the question is, if it is not a support that supports it, who is supporting it? Like the question that my creator wants me to ask here is, there is this conscious act being done over there. So what raises it up? What makes this? There's this order within sun and the moon. They go within a certain course. All these are highlighting or indicating that there must be a wise and all-powerful one behind the scenes. Otherwise, how is this going to happen as such? Yudabbirul amr. Things are being done in a good measure, and there must be a measurer, isn't it? Yufassilul ayat. Now let's come to here. Detailing you the signs. Let's read this in two ways. Detailing the signs. These are all the signs. Like, for example, if I was a good cook, or let's say Ali is now thinking that actually right now he is disturbing everybody, trying to show his skills. He is detailing his skills. But where are the skills? Skills are invisible to you, right? So how is he detailing it? Now he is detailing his construction skills by putting it into play. So the signs of his skills are his acts. Likewise, raising the skies is signs. So in a sense, this verse is saying, if I read ayat in here as the trees out there, the clouds out there, or the moon and the sun, all these are the signs of the one who is, if you like, demonstrating his skills. I'm using a little bit of a metaphorical language, but these are the signs that are being detailed. So this is one way to look at the universe. Everything is a sign. And did you guys watch Ratatouille? So in Ratatouille, there was this mouse by a chef, like mouse cooks so well. To the end of the movie, there was a scene where the inspector was turning to the mouse and saying that, amaze me. Like, demonstrate your skills by making the best food, because mouse was a chef. So looking at the universe as such and asking the maker, the creator, oh, these are all your signs, amazing signs, every one of which tells about you, amaze me. يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون. How is this last part coming together? So that you're going to be sure, you're going to be certain about reaching to your Lord. Everything else is fine, I guess, in terms of saying that there must exist an all-powerful and wise creator. And this is how I was explaining it so far. But the verse concluded by saying that all these signs are there so that you're going to be sure that you will meet your Lord. What sort of a meeting is that? And is it making you certain that I will meet my Lord? Some input from you, please. Yes.
For some reason, this made me think not about like meeting with it, but more about like the existence of the Lord. Like after seeing all of these signs around you, you would think, like you would have this conviction that there's a God behind them, but a God exists, and then you're gonna eventually meet.
Mhm. So, very good. How can you meet your Lord? I mean, anybody, but also you. How do you expect to meet your Lord? Like if I say we are going to meet, I don't know, Trump, probably the meeting is going to take place, I mean, either he comes here or I go there. Somehow we need to be in the same space, and then we will meet with the guy, maybe over a lunch or a dinner or something, and we will exchange a few words, right? What does it mean to meet your Lord? Is this something that you're interested in? What would it feel like? Have you ever thought about, oh God, I would like to meet you? Have you ever prayed for this so far? Not with these words yet?
Not with these exact words.
Okay. Like our president at Drexel, he makes like you need to RSVP, but he's newly appointed. He recently came to Drexel, and he wants to meet with students, professors, and the staff. So it's just RSVP with me. These are the timelines. We can meet with you. It's a good thing. Our previous president was a different type of a guy. Like he had a bubble around him, so you cannot really reach to him that much. New president is he seems to be a good guy. I mean, this is the vibe that I'm receiving. I know, at least I know how to meet with the new president of the university. I RSVP with him, go there at that time, and I can then meet him. So at least it's not impossible. There's a way. It's not 24/7, but maybe once a term I have the chance. What does it mean to meet your Lord? Yes.
I was thinking of last week's lecture actually, about names. So I guess like you would have to know what kind of characteristics are you expecting, like who are you trying to meet ultimately? So if we go back to that, if there's a certain characteristics and how is like Allah showing himself or explaining himself to us ultimately, I think then through those characteristics every single time you ultimately. We talked a lot about like mercy. You observe mercy, but you observe mercy through various things. But the one who embodies mercy, the one who's the defining of mercy itself, like if you keep tracing that back, ultimately, then you say. So in that way, you're new. So I think in every single action, everything you take, you have the opportunity to meet.
Right. So these are the signs of, I mean, let's take it more maybe specific. We say, going with, yeah, perfectly, going with your example. In my life, I do receive mercy. I do sense that, just like, as sometimes I give the example, I bring one warm cup of milk to my daughter at night, in the middle of night when he wakes up and asks for something, which is a sign of my mercy. And now she's really meeting with me as a merciful father. Maybe for the rest of the time, she's not aware of it. Maybe I'm frowning at her time to time. But the moment I hand over this warm milk to her at 2 a.m., she's really meeting with his merciful father. For the rest of the time, is the merciful father there? Like technically we say father is father, but it's not there. The child, even sometimes it happens, right? Everybody's in the same room, but everybody's on their phone. They didn't meet. Meeting really means, like, if you like, hearts are touching to each other. We are becoming aware of each other. Like this is the moment of meeting, right? Yeah.
But I feel like that also requires your effort, right? Like to the degree that you're curious enough to understand your own purpose in this world and the idea that you do have a maker. Because I think like that's the first. It's like, is there enough curiosity to figure out what, like, who are you? What are you? And how did you even get here? beyond your biology.
Mhm.
I think to the degree you're curious, you will look for your Lord and ultimately have the opportunity to find him. So I think it does have to do with it. So
Exactly, because it sometimes happens that Zainab wakes up in the morning and I say, "Oh, do you remember? You asked for milk in the middle of the night and I gave it to you." She says, "No, I don't remember." Like Mercy was there, ready to meet her, but maybe she was not aware. She was not awake. So then this beautifully can take us back to La yu'minun part at the very beginning, right? Ekthar nas la yu'minun. Majority of people, like the signs are there, but maybe people are not there to meet them. So the whole existence, the creation is filled with signs of wisdom, knowledge, overall Rabb. This is why the word Rabbikum, rather than saying لعلكم بلقاء رب العالمين توقنون, rather than this, like rather saying that, or then so that you're going to be meeting the Lord of the everything. No, Lord, your Lord, to the extent that you personally get accustomed to, get to know that Lord, you will meet with that Lord. You will get to know him. So when and where is this happening? It happens at the moment that you reach this togetherness. Because the problem is that I am far from him, maybe, but he is near me. What does this mean? Signs. The signs are coming all the way right next to me. That's why I'm going to know him to the extent that he is, metaphorically speaking, touch me. Does this word make sense when I say to the extent that he touches me? Like to the extent that I am starting to experience what is happening. A merciful act, or a rain, or a cute child. Like these are all signs with which I interact. Like there are things that you are right now oblivious to. Like there are wireless signals in this room. If you don't have this device, you're oblivious to it, right? Which means there could have been a cute kid in the room and still you would be oblivious to it. So you would never know it as a sign. If you were made indifferent to it, you wouldn't know it, would you? So whomever made you is giving a sign that you can relate to, as if saying that I would like to talk to you. I know what you like. You like cuteness, and here's a cuteness which doesn't happen randomly. It is a sign for you to get to know me. Make sense? And an online comment says, these signs feel like invitations. So each one of these signs are like invitations. So that they see it. Okay, so this is بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّكُمْ تُوقِنُونَ. So these are the signs that are there so that we reach certainty. وَهُوَ الَّذِي مَدَّ الْأَرْضَ وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ وَأَنْهَارًا. And he it is who spread out the earth and placed therein firm hills and flowing streams. وَمِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ جَعَلَ فِيهَا زَوْجَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ. And of all fruits, he placed therein two spouses. يُغْشِي اللَّيْلَ النَّهَارِ. He covers the night with the day. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So in these are signs for the people who ponder upon, you think. So again, in this regard, signs are listed as not the verses anymore. They are really pretty much everyday things. And this is being shown as the keys for certainty. وفي الأرض قطاع متجاورة وجنات من أعناب وزرع ونخيل صنوان وغير صنوان يسقى بماء واحد ونفضل بعضها على بعض. And in the earth are neighboring tracts, vineyards and plowed lands, and date palms, like and unlike, which are watered with one another, with one water. And we have made some of them to excel others in fruit. Or some of the fruits are better than the others. In terms of eating. إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يعقلون. Indeed, in these are the signs for the people who use their intellect. So very interestingly, now let's wrap it up to the very beginning before I proceed to the next set of verses. It started with Iman or lack of it. And Iman, as we know, it is not a wishy-washy thing, but it is being sure and secure. And it looks like this being sure and secure is not black and white, but it has levels to the extent that it's talking about reaching certainty. How certain are you? How sure and secure are you? This is the second point. And the third point is, how can one reach this sureness and secureness or this certainty? Is it by closing the eyes or is it by opening the eyes? Because the signs that are mentioned in here are simply living the life, looking at the skies, looking at the trees, looking at the fruits. Pretty much what you guys are doing, studying sciences, pretty much, if you would like to take it as such. Or having a family, or having friends, like just mundane relationships. In all of them are signs which will give me the certainty. That is super interesting because, as we know, in the common narrative today, nowadays, is what? Religious people are illiterate. They don't think. Like they are ready to get shaken very easily. But scientific inquiry is the solid knowledge, certain positive fact. Whereas religion is like you cannot prove anything, you just know it by your heart type of a thing. Like this is at least the common narrative nowadays. The Quran is depicting something totally different. It's talking about in a chapter named as thunder. It's talking about signs which give us certainty. Any comments or questions before I proceed to the next chunk of verses that I would like to bring up? Yes.
I'm thinking about how, like, I'm not be drastically underestimating my day-to-day interaction and mundane quote-unquote life, because the science is like, the more, it's always big. So it's always like, then this X requires this much year to do this type of thing. You invest this much energy, you'll be better. The harder you work, it's a lot of effort, and it feels quite exhausting and overwhelming at times. Versus this is saying that every minute, every second, everything that I'm doing it can lead back to my Lord. And I think to me, that means I'm truly underestimating the importance of my existence in a sense of like just sleeping, waking up and doing something and interacting with the family or something. Yeah.
So then I guess for this, maybe we should also highlight, which I didn't in here, Yufasilul Ayat is detailing the signs. So seeing everything as this is a detail of sign. Like he's just saying that I am a good cook, but you know what? I even put this piece of parsley just for design purposes. So it's not just that I am cooking for your stomach, for your tongue, but also for your eyes as well. Like this is a detail that's being put in some good restaurants, which I've never been to, like that good ones. But This is the idea of detailing the signs. So from here, I would like to bring another a story that we discussed before, but I would like to highlight this story for that specific purpose. Story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. We talked about this before in this gathering and elsewhere. So I would like to focus on the first two verses. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَارَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. When Abraham said unto his father Azar, are you taking idols for gods? إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. I see you and your people in a deep ignorance or in a manifest error. So in here, Ibrahim alayhi salam is like, in here, he's still an Ibrahim. He's like a person. He's challenging his father and his people for their ideology and practice. وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And as such, we showed Abraham the kingdom, the malakut of the heavens and the earth, وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ, so that he might be of those possessing certainty. This also tells us something about how certainty starts. The previous verses told us how to attain certainty, but his journey for attaining certainty started from being dissatisfied with what is being presented to him. What was presented to him was, he said, how does this skies stay up there? His father said, oh, it is the God named escape velocity. Something like this, like some idol. But idols, what is an idol? Idol is a unconscious thing that you say this does that. Like, how is it different? Like taking idols as God. What does that mean? It sounds very primitive minded, right? Nobody nowadays is really going and bowing before any statue. This is so primitive, we think. But the gist of idol worshiping is still there. What is idol worshiping? There's a conscious act that is being done, such as feeding humans, or giving death, or wrath, like receiving wrath. These are conscious acts. But what do we attribute this to? We attribute it to things which are either multiple entities or unconscious material beings. That's what we mean by unconscious. It could be an idol, or it could be a law. Like once we say, oh, it is escape velocity. Like moon not falling down is because it is within the escape velocity and also the, gravitational force. So one is pushing this way, one is pulling that way, and it stays there as easy as that, right? What did we attribute the act of moon staying there orderly? We attribute it to two gods in this case, two unconscious beings. It's not an idol made up of stone, but it's an idol made up of an equation. We attributed this conscious result to something that's unconscious. This is idol worshiping. So the same primitive mindset is there. Still today, if somebody comes and says, yeah, moon doesn't fall because there's a pulling force and the pushing force and it balances, hence it doesn't fall, and it's not supposed to fall. Like then I ask, how does this happen though? Like at this moment, pulling and pushing is happening. What pulls, what pushes? How is that happening? Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying that I don't buy that. I do see you and your people in a manifest error. This is a very clear nonsense. This is the starting point for certainty. What does this mean? If I am not certain about what is wrong, the doors for becoming certain about right doesn't open. What do you think? وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين. As he took this first step of being dissatisfied with this manifest wrongness, so well, this doesn't make sense. But how does it not make sense in the first place? Again, he was questioning, as we will see more. He didn't get satisfied with what is being presented to him. And also he was courageous enough to say that this is nonsense. Then the truth started to be open to him, because the previous verse was already, like the previous set of verses was already saying that everywhere is filled with signs. So the truth was already there. The signs were already there. But there was this false, dissatisfactory explanation. So he said, no, I don't accept this. I can't accept that. There's also another word in here. Since it's there, let's touch upon it. Malakut as-samawati wal ard. So Malakut as-samawati wal ard, in here it is being translated as the kingdom of heavens and the earth. But what does a Malakut in this case mean? If you look at it on the face value, it looks like, let me go back to my example with giving one warm cup of milk to Zainab in the middle of night. It looks like it's just a cup of milk. It is 250 milliliters. It is of white color. It is of this many degrees and whatnot. This is what is apparent on the milk. But what is there really in this cup is love. It's not milk. In fact, it's love. This is the truth, or this is what is behind the scenes. I mean, not really behind the scenes, but this is what is there, really. This is why when you remember your mom, do you guys remember your mom bringing you warm milk or something when you were sick? I do. And these are really the warm moments that I remember from my childhood, but it's not the warmth of the milk that I remember. The warmth of my mom's care is what I remember, because this is what the milk was about. It's not about the milk itself. It's about the significance that it carries. Ibrahim alayhi salam was dissatisfied with somebody presenting him with, oh, this is just milk. So this doesn't make any sense. Malakut as-samawati wal ard is, what is the meaning, message, purpose? What is behind the scenes? What's going on? This shouldn't simply be moon is just standing there. What does moon standing there signify? Oh, it's just a heavenly body, you know. Escape velocity, gravity. No, it cannot be. So he was dissatisfied. And as such, detailing starts for him, and then he reaches conviction. Okay. I will quickly go through these three verses. We read this many times before, so I will just read it from translation. But this is Ibrahim alayhi salam's journey to reach this yaqeen, this conviction. When the night grew dark upon him, he beheld a star. He said, "This is my Lord." But when it set, he said, "I love not things that set." And when he saw the moon uprising, he exclaimed, "This is my Lord." But when it set, he said, "Unless my Lord guide me, I surely shall become one of the folk who are astray." And when he saw the sun uprising, he cried, "This is my Lord. This is greater." And when it set, he exclaimed, "O my people, indeed I am free from all that you associate." So the conclusion is seeing the same pattern. There's no multiple entities. There's only one and only. So multiplicity cannot exist. Then this is being his conclusion, and this is how he starts reaching the certainty. Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ard hanifan wama ana min al-mushrikeen. Indeed, I have turned my face toward him who created the heavens and the earth. as one by nature upright, Hanifan, and I am not of the idolaters, or I am not of the ones that ascribe partners. Such a beautiful conclusion. There's no word Allah in this sentence. It says, I am turning my face towards the one who does all these. This is certainty. Because I am sure somebody is doing this, and that somebody is not multiple. It's not a group work. Because there is no room for disagreement. It's perfectly aligned, everything. And I do see the same signature everywhere. So I am turning my face towards him. Ibrahim met his Lord. This is the point, that Ibrahim met his Lord. Right? So this is بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّكُمْ تُوقِنُونَ. We talked about this in the previous verses. You may be certain of meeting with your Lord. After this journey, Ibrahim met with his Lord, said, I am turning my face towards him now. He didn't go to White House. The president came to his foot. He's realizing that he was acting with his signs everywhere. Meeting took place, and now he is certain. Any comments or questions? I have one more verse to show before we go there, and we have 10 minutes before we conclude. I would like to complete the picture with one more verse. Again, we talked about this verse before, but let's put it into context. This Ibrahim alayhi salam, who is shown to us from very beginning of who reached or who was invited to certainty. Because how did I start framing this? Iman is not black and white. Iman has levels. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أريني كيف تحيي الموتى قال أولم تؤمن. When Abraham said, my Lord, show me how you give life to the dead. He said, now the Creator, there's this conversation happening, and the Creator says, do you not believe? أولم تؤمن. قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. He said, yes, but in order that my heart may be satisfied. He has Iman. And in here, the point that's being questioned is, my grandfathers died, my parents died, whomever dies doesn't come back, I'm going to die. Like, how do you resurrect the dead? I believe, I am sure and secure, but it looks like sure and secure has levels because he says, I need further satisfaction. Very beautiful verse follows. قال فخذ أربعة من الطير فصرهن إليك. Take 4 birds and cause them to incline unto you. Like make them familiar with you. Pretty much train 4 birds. Let's take it as such. Okay, train 4 birds. ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا. And then to all the mountains put a part of them. Since there are 4 birds, part of 4 are put one there, one there, one there, one there. Okay. Distribute these 4 birds into 4 mountains. Then call them. يأتينك سعيا. So they will come to you very quickly. Since you trained them at the beginning, if you call them, they will quickly come back to you. Does this make sense to you? Like, can you relate to this? If you train 4 birds, even if you distribute them around, or if we are in America, let's change the example. Train 4 dogs, okay? Not much birds in this country, but 4 dogs. But put them into different parts of the park, or put them into different even streets. But then blow your whistle. You will see that they are rushing towards you running. Right? وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. then know that Allah is mighty wise. There is certainty here. Let's talk about it and conclude with this. How does this verse give certainty to Ibrahim alayhi salam about resurrection of the dead? And how does it give certainty for you about resurrection of the dead? Rayyan, do you believe about resurrection? Sure. How sure are you? Like, are you as sure as Ibrahim alayhi salam, a little less than him, a little more than him?
Would hope I'm not sure.
As sure?
Hopefully.
Okay, that's a very big claim. So, how does this help us? What do you think? One thing that I see from this story is, first of all, somebody whose story, whose journey we learn from Qur'an, to the extent that he's having this conversation with his Lord, is still having question marks. And Qur'an is making a distinction in here about Iman will require more Iman. Like, it's not black and white. And I can relate with this, really, because my certainty is increasing. If you ask me, are you sure? I would say, I am sure, but you can become more sure about things that's not 100% clear to you. Like, if you ask me, is your wife loving you? I'm in the dangerous territories. Let's change the example. So, I am sure. I am sure. But sometimes it happens, something bad happens to you, and she says, I am giving one of my kidneys to him. Let's give an extreme example. I mean, this never happened. There was never a need for her to give a biological part of her to me. Is such a sacrifice. But once I observe, my certainty increases. I say, well, of course, right? So right now, do I have any insecurity about her? Not much. But there's a way to increase. This is what that means. Like, does this mean that I was less sure yesterday? I was sure enough within whatever I was exposed to, but now I am even more sure. So Iman can decrease and increase. Certainty can increase and decrease. And in this case, Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying, okay, yes, I have a very strong conviction that you resurrect, but show it to me. I would like to become as sure as if I am seeing it. I would like to be sure as I am knowing it. And here is the example that's given. So in the remaining 4 minutes, probably you heard this from me before, but for those who didn't hear, this is a very beautiful metaphor. I mean, you can take it literally and say that Ibrahim alayhi salam really took the birds, chopped them off, put them there, so he knows that he killed them, right? And then after blowing the whistle, birds come to him. So now he knows. I just killed them, right? They're now coming back. That's one explanation. But that applies to Ibrahim alayhi salam alone. It doesn't answer my question. Because I would still say, when I read the question, I say, yes, I have the same question. When I read the answer, you showed it to him. Why don't you show it to me, right? I can read it for a second way as well. This is a metaphor as well. I cannot read it as a metaphor, and I am okay with reading it both ways, but in more favor of the second for my personal needs. My creator is saying in here that, look, if you just take 4 birds and train them and put them apart, when you whistle, they come back, right? I am collecting your particles. Did you eat banana recently?
No.
No? I mean, the bananas we eat are coming from South America, right? The water, but you drank water today, which came from ocean, like 2 hours distance, probably. Like rain came all the way from there. And he's saying that I am collecting your bits and pieces from across this globe. I put them together for the first time. And now they are working in harmony, as if like the 4 animals that you trained, you get accustomed to, so that they're functioning together. Once you die, what's happening? They're going to get dispersed. So I put them together in the first place, which is the harder thing. Once you split them, you blow it and they come back, right? I did the hard one. You see, I collected you all over the place, just your particles. But also you have intellect, you have emotions. I put all these together and made it to you. After that, they're going to get spread, put all around to four corners. Do you really think that I cannot put them together? Like I am. Don't you see that in Allah Azizun Hakim? Don't you see the mightiness and the wisdom in the first place that he puts them together? So how hard it is, do you think, is the second one? So this is happening right before your eyes. So in this way, really, then this gives me certainty that whomever puts it together for the first part, for the first time, wouldn't have any trouble putting them together for a second time. Because I do see the might and wisdom as it's being manifested in the first place. So Ibrahim alayhi salam then is now satisfied and says, I am knowing. That's why I highlighted this. Wa'lam. Now it is at the level of knowledge. It's not wishy-washy. I am now like 2 + 2 = 4. This is a corner. Like these are all knowledges, right? You're sure that this is a corner, right? This is a knowledge. Then you will be as sure that resurrection happens. That certainty is fulfilled. So, Yaqeen, and Quran talks about Yaqeen in other places as well. Quran talks about Ayn al-Yaqeen. Quran talks about Haqq al-Yaqeen. Like very interestingly, Haqq al-Yaqeen was mentioned Quran. In Quran, Haqq al-Yaqeen is mentioned for people who get into hell. Then you will perfectly know what I'm talking about, Quran says. Once you get into the fire, you know it was not a joke. Once you start burning, like from outside, you can see the fire and say, oh, maybe it's an illusion and whatnot. Once you're inside the fire, all your neurons are now firing, literally. You then know, I am sure. I am sure this is burning. I am not burning. Yeah.
But is it the same, like, maybe Ibrahim sounds, I'm assuming that he actually did that thing and that it worked out, and he called them and they came back. And now he knew it because he experienced it. But we can't know it out of experience. We can know that that is a corner, we understand it and we see it or whatever. Okay, I mean that is experiencing, but we can't know it the same way we don't experience it. Is that like that? Yeah, what's the different level of that?
Yeah.
Is understanding it or knowing it?
So if you take it as a metaphor, you can experience it. Because as a metaphor, even if you don't get 4 dogs and train it for yourself, you can see your friend. Your friend is training the dog, right? And this is common knowledge. Metaphors are common knowledge, right? Because an unknown is being explained to you with something that you know. And if I tell you that if I train 4 dogs and call them, they will come back, this is something that's within your experience, right? You wouldn't question this. Or if I say, we recruited 100 soldiers, they're coming from all different cities, okay? They don't know each other, but they stay in this boot camp for 10 days, right? And then I ask them to go to different parts of the field. I blow the whistle, 100 soldiers comes back. Is this within your experience? You can relate to that, right?
Yeah, but is that the same knowledge as me? I can say
I mean,
see the 100.
Yeah.
Okay, now I actually know that.
So you can experience it in your basketball court. Let me go directly with you. How many people are there in your team? 15 people. They're coming from across the US and across the globe, right? Some of them I know is coming from Sweden, not Switzerland, Sweden, right? So all these 15 people are gathered together in this room and they're playing basketball. The hard job was to pull all of them together into the same stadium, right? At some point, what happens? It is the break time, right? Coach does this. Everybody goes to the restroom or somewhere and somewhere, right? And then they make an announcement. Match is about to start. you guys all come back to the stadium again, right? So this is something that you can see, because what did you experience in the first place? They acquired you. First, they searched where this talent is. Then they said, this is the amount of money, or this is the amount of whatever tuition we are offering you. So they put knowledge, they put power, money, they put like the will to apply to grab you here in the first place. This was the hard thing. After you get dispersed, putting you guys together is even easier. And this is common sense. Within your experience, within my experience, everybody experiences in different ways, right? Then I say, when I die, all these, everything is going to get rotten and then dispersed. Who is going to put me together? This person is saying that the one who put you together for the first time. He trained you, he pulled all your pieces together from everywhere else, and you have been part of this. Right now, part of you is coming from South America, part of you is coming from wherever. You are also experiencing it, the second one. Then I ask the question, if after I die, who's going to put me together? I would say, come on, there's not even a question. The one who is putting me in the first place with his wisdom and might will, of course, put me together in his wisdom and might. It's not being any question anymore. Make sense? Okay. Any comments, any questions? Let's conclude here, inshallah. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.